So hi, good morning to one and all. This is Dr Manidrupath from JDS team. So today's topic is homeopathic pharmacy. So we will learn the basics of pharmacy. So first, understanding the definition of pharmacy. So what is pharmacy? So it is the name applied to the art of preparing drugs from the administration to the sick and dispensing them as medicines. So pharmacy is nothing but just a definition of preparing the drugs. So how to prepare it and how to administer to the sick person and how to dispense it. So that is what the pharmacy is. So what is the source of the rules of homeopathic pharmacy? So Hahnemann's writings, especially the organal, the materia medica pura and the chronic diseases, these form the basis of all the subsequent treasures on the subject. So from where this pharmacy has been extracted. So what are the sources of this pharmacy? So mainly the sources are, one is the organal and the materia medica pura and the chronic disease. So these are the basic sources, or we can say genuine sources of homeopathic pharmacy. So next, what is the distinguishing peculiarity of homeopathic pharmacy? So it is the painstaking accuracy of detail and the avoidance of all mixture of medicinal substances which could interfere with the accurate reproduction of the preparation used in the province. So what is the peculiarity between the other pharmacies and homeopathic pharmacies is that, so we as a homeopath or our homeopathic pharmacy doesn't have any avoided mixtures. So they just prepare the substances in an accurate manner and they don't give any crude substance as well. They do it in a very genuine manner. What rules should be observed in bottles, utensils, etc. So absolute cleanliness is the prime essential. Bottles which have been used as containers for the medical preparations should not again be used for the medicines, nor for the higher attenuations of the same medicines. Corks should always be new. So how, when we store the medicine, so what is the precautions we should be taken while using this medicine is, first thing, absolute cleanliness is the primary essential. So the cleanliness of the bottles is the most important thing while storing a medicine or while storing the dilutions which were prepared through the homeopathic pharmacy. So which has been used as a containers for medical preparations should not again be used for the other medicines. For example, you have prepared the dilution of Naxomica. You must use for that Naxomica. Again, if you want to prepare the other medicine, you need to use the other bottle, but not the same bottle. So that is most important thing you need to understand, and not for higher attenuations of the same medicines. And cork should be always be new. The open of the bottle top should be always be new. So what are medicinal vehicles? They are comparatively inert materials which are used for the containing and as a means of developing the therapeutic activity of medical substances. So in normal terms, these vehicles are just like catalyst, right? In chemistry we come across the catalyst. That means that doesn't have any property inducing the medicinal substances, but that helps in the faster way, or that helps in doing very faster action. So that's why in that we call it a catalyst, but here it is the vehicles. So these are comparatively inert materials because these vehicles doesn't have any drug induced substances. So they are just inert, which are used to contain and as a means of developing the therapeutic activity of medical substances. Name those used in homeopathic pharmacy. One is what we used in homeopathic pharmacy. One is alcohol, distilled water, pellets and sugar of milk. So these are the most prominent things you need to have in your homeopathic pharmacy. Alcohol is must, and next is distilled water, next pellets and sugar of milk. What is the difference between absolute and homeopathic alcohol? So homeopathic alcohol is of 87% of strength and is used in making homeopathic attenuations. So absolute alcohol theoretically should be 100% proof, but practically 95% is about the highest, and it ever attains as it constantly absorbs water from the atmosphere. So our homeopathic alcohol percentage is 87% of strength used for homeopathic attenuations. But coming to the absolute alcohol, it should be 100% proof, but practically it is 95%. So many people say we use alcohol, they just prescribe alcohol, it is not a medicine. But this is the proof. We use the homeopathic alcohol which is 87%, that doesn't damage to the person who is taking homeopathic medicines. So how may 95% alcohol be reduced to homeopathic alcohol? See, this is what. Now, as I said in the previous slide, the absolute alcohol has the 95%. But how we reduced it to the homeopathic alcohol, that is 85% or 87%. By adding to 7 parts of 95% alcohol, 1 part of distilled water. So this is how we need to dilute the alcohol, by distilled water, pouring the distilled water into the alcoholic part. So that's where our homeopathic medicines will be dispensing, not the pure form or not the absolute alcohol kind of medicines. So what is diluted alcohol? It is made by adding to 7 parts of 87% alcohol, 3 parts of distilled water. This is not the dilute alcohol of the old school, which is 47 parts of water to 53 parts of alcohol. So this is how we need to dilute the alcohol, by taking 7 parts of 87% of alcohol, that is homeopathic alcohol, with 3 parts of distilled water. With the 3 parts of distilled water, this is not the dilute alcohol of the old school, but the 47 parts of water to 53 parts of alcohol is to be done. How should distilled water be kept? In small quantities and as in glass topper bottles, as it is deteriorated easily. So this is how you need to store your distilled water, in a small quantities and this glass stopper, with any glass stopper above the bottles, and it is deteriorates easily. How is sugar of milk prepared for homeopathic purposes? So how we can prepare the sugar of milk? So this is the main thing in our pharmacy as this. If you prepare these, then the dilutions will automatically be used in the sugar of milk. So in order to obtain it perfectly pure, it is recrystallized. Originally it was made by evaporation of the whey. It is generally known as saccharum lactis. So this is the sugar of milk. The other name is saccharum lactis. So what are the homeopathic globules or pellets made of? So how these homeopathic globules and pellets are made of? Originally of pure cane and sugar. What is meant by medicinal substances? The entire drug material from which the titurature is made, and not the proportion thereof which is dissolved in the titurature. As for instance, belladonna herb or naxomica seeds, and not alone the extracted material of these substances. So how our medicinal substances are made is the entire drug material from which the titration is made, and not the portion thereof which is dissolved in the titration. So we generally think that, see here, naxomica is extracted from seeds, but not only the seed which we take for that naxomica, but the entire drug material is used in preparing our medicinal substances. So that's what the line says. The entire drug material from which the titration is made, and not the portion of which is dissolved in the titration. As for instance, see, belladonna herb or naxomica seeds are not alone the extracted material of these substances. So every medicine which we prepare is we extracted from the whole plant. So that is how our medicinal substances are made. What is meant by the drug power of titration? It is the amount of crude drug contained in it. So this is the drug power. Well, the actual definition of drug power of titration is the amount of crude drug contained in it. For example, naxomica, if you take in a crude form, the amount of the power which it produces is called the drug power of the titration. That we potentized and we made into a using homeopathic medicines. What is meant by the mother teacher of a drug? The strongest liquid preparation used in homeopathy and made by macerating or dissolving this drug or portion of it in alcohol or water. So this is how our mother teachers are prepared. The strongest liquid preparation used in homeopathy. So when we extract the medicine, the dilution or the liquid form is called mother teacher, and is made by macerating or dissolving this drug or portions of it with alcohol and water. So these mother teachers are mixed with alcohol and water. So this doesn't have the dynamization or potentized form. When you use mother teachers very frequently, that may produce some side effects in the body and may damage the liver as well, because it is a crude form of producing drug, like how the old school physician use their medicines directly for the disease. The same is you can use in mother teacher as in homeopathy. So what is the chief source of our mother teachers? So what are the source of our mother teachers? From where we extract, right? One is the fresh plant, but parts of the plants such as barks, roots, seeds, gums, blossoms, etc. are also used. So these are some source of plants. So in basics of homeopathy, sir taught the source of homeopathy. One is plant, animal, and mineral. So this is also one of the source of mother teachers we can extract from it. What rules is observed in making titration from plants? Whenever possible, the fresh plant only should be used. Hence, the needed of importing certain titurations from countries where the fresh plants grow. So, whenever you prepare any drug, whenever you want to prepare any drug, take the fresh plant, which is of very fresh, which doesn't contain any disease, infections, or anything. So, whenever you want to extract some plants from other countries as well, take it as a fresh root or fresh bark or fresh plant. That is most important in preparing any medicines from the plant sources. What other rules should be observed in making titration? They should be prepared as far as possible exactly as they were prepared for the original provers. Alteration in their preparations could produce different actions. So for example, you have taken Naxomica seed which is of some diseased condition. So when you about to prove this remedy of Naxomica and its main action is on GI, we know. But when you take of Naxomica seed which is of diseased condition, which is of some poisonous condition, then the same action you cannot be seen on the provers. So that may give some different action or that may end in adverse effects. So that's what while preparing titurations of any remedy, prepare as it is possible to the original provers with fresh preparation is needed in preparing the medicines. How is the strength of the titration estimated? By the proportion of the medicinal substances which it represents just as the strength of a solution or titration is estimated by the proportion of medicinal substances in it. So previously as I said, how the strength of the power of medicine is calculated is based on the crude form of the drug. So here also to estimate the power of the titration, the medicinal substance proportion is most important in estimating the strength of the titurations. Is the strength of homeopathic mother teacher is uniform? It is not. The strength varies greatly, being influenced by the nature of the drug. For instance, the amount of drug power is in aconite is 50% or 1/2, while in phosphorus titration the actual amount of drug content is 1/10 of 1%. So mother teacher strength is not uniform because the environmental factors of each plant, the environmental factors of each substance what you take, the crude form of what you take, that is different from different parts and different sources. So that's why the titurations of homeopathic mother teacher titurations are the power is completely different. What do we mean by the mother teacher of an acid? It is generally means the first decimal dilution, that it is 1 part of the acid to 9 parts of distilled water. So we normally prepare every medicine like 1 part of alcohol we need to put and we need to drop the 10 parts or 9 parts of distilled water. So that's how the mother teacher of an acid mean for. Are there expectations to this rule? Fluoric, hydrocyanuric, phosphoric and picric acids in the titration contains 1 part of the acid to 99 of either alcohol or water, making the first centesimal dilution. So these are some expectations you can think of. What is peculiar about fluoric acid? It attacks glasses, hence should be prepared and kept in gutta percha bottles up to the 3rd or 4th dilution. So in pharmacy, some medicines we need to keep in certain glass bottles only. So in that one example is for fluoric acid, because fluoric acid must be stored in gutta percha bottle, not in the normal glasses. If you store fluoric acid in normal glasses, it attacks the glass bottles. Mention a few important remedies in which the mother teacher equals to the 2x dilution. Arsenic, borax, crotantic, mercur, creosote, iodine, tarantula and others. Those whose mother teachers are equal the first decimal dilution are too much numerous to mention. So these are the medicines you can think of which is of mother teacher equal to the 2x dilution. Is the strength of an equal quantity of arsenic, says a drop of mother teacher, and a grain of 2x titration on the same. So it is since they both contain the 1/100th of the grain of crude arsenic. Why is it possible to obtain mother teacher of phosphorus, not the second decimal dilution? So here you see the possibility of obtaining of mother teacher of phosphorus but not the second dilution, second decimal dilution. The so-called mother teacher of phosphorus equals to the third decimal dilution. So previously I said, right, different mother teachers have different amount of power. So here the mother teacher of phosphorus is equal to third decimal dilution. The crude form or the strength of the phosphorus is equal to third dilution but not to the second dilution. So some mother teachers while you prepare can be equal to 2x dilution or can be equal to the 3x dilution. So before slide we have learned about the 2x dilution of mother teacher, which is equal to like Rs, borax, tarantula. So but phosphorus is not that equal to second decimal dilution, but it equals the third decimal dilution because of the power or crude strength of the phosphorus. So phosphorus begin solubly only to the amount of 1000 part in the alcohol. The second decimal dilution, which should be 1 to 100, cannot be made. So this is what, see, the dilution power of each remedy is different. So here phosphorus dilution amount is 1000 part. So that's why they cannot come equal to the second decimal dilution. So whenever the dilutions are about 1000, they directly end into 3x dilution. When the amount of dilution or solubility is in 100 or 99 parts, then they end into the 2x dilution. So that's why phosphorus ends with third decimal dilution. Can phosphorus be had in lower titration than the 3x? It cannot. That is 1x and 2x will be burned in the mortar and the 3x will in time change into phosphoric acid. In fact, all titurations of phosphorus are questionable. So that's what, if you give in 1x 2x dilution, they burn. So the strength is more in the 1x and 2x. So that's why they directly convert into 3x decimal dilution that can be converted into phosphoric acid. Is phosphorus titration be ordered from the pharmacist and at the same time phosphorus 3x dilution, what will be sent? The same preparation of one labeled phosphorus 0 and the other is phosphorus 3x. What are important titurations and what domestic? Important titurations are such as are made from plants growing only abroad. Domestic such are made from the plant growing in this country. In both the cases, they are generally made from the fresh plant. So this is what the imported titurations or domestic titurations, whatever the titurations we made, but the main criteria rule you need to remember is that must be prepared from the fresh plant or fresh bark, which is not a diseased part. So what is titration? Any drug that has been minutely subdivided by rubbing into mortar with sugar of milk in a definite proportion for a given time, thereby developing its medicinal power. So we know the titurations, one is succussion, another one is titration. So both the process will help in developing the medicinal power. The quantity we normally focus on the quality, not the quantity. So these titurations produce the quantity of the medicine, not the quality. Not the quality of the medicine, but it produces quantity of the medicine. So what are tablets? Compressed or molded titurations are called tablets. So what is an alkaloid? A nitrogenous body of a basic alkaline-like character found in most poisonous plants and which can be extracted from the same by chemical means. So most alkaloids contain oxygen. They are easily soluble in alcohol and slightly so in water. So reacts of alkaline or form of salts with acids. So many are mostly virulent poisons. So we can think of Naxomica as an alkaloid plant which has a poisonous nature. So that is one example of an alkaloid. Name a few alkaloids. See here, morphine from opium, strychnine is from Naxomica, quinine is from persimmon bark, that is what Hahnemann has to, and nicotine is from tobacco. So these are some alkaloids which are prepared through that alkaloids which is poisonous, but we as a homeopath make it into the process of dynamization, trituration, potentization. Then we prepare the medicines which are safe and secure to give the patient. So what are glucosides? The number of components occurring mainly in the vegetable kingdom that under the influence of dilute acids, ferments or the split up into the component parts of which glucose or a related carbohydrate is always the one. So this is the definition of glucosides. So name some glucosides you can see. Eslinum from Acelus, Hippocastaneum, Arbutinum from Uva uvaceae. So these are some glucosides you can think of. So what are resinoids? They come cheaply from the electric spool and are the dried residues of essences and titurations of remedies from the vegetable kingdom. They contain the alkaloids, glucosides, resins, etc. of the plants mixed together. So some of the important is apocynon, hydrazine, podophyllin, colocin, allicin, marcotin, irzine, baptizin, leptendrin, colophyllin and many others. How are these are used in homeopathy is right, we know by titurating them with the sugar of milk. So either you take alkaloids, either you take glucosides, either you take resinoids. Whatever the component which we need, which the drug substances has, that we extract and mix in the titration with sugar of milk. So define the terms dynamization, potency, attenuation, dilution, strength as applied in homeopathic pharmacy. They all refer to the same thing and the process, that is the regular series of subdivision according to either the decimal or centesimal scale. So what is meant by succussion and potentization? The shaking of a liquid preparation with a definite proportion of alcohol for a number of times or minutes in order to prepare the next higher potency or dilution. So this is what we do, like succussion and potentization. How the medicine strength is to be improved, the medicine strength, we need succussion and potentization with the equal number of parts of alcohol and the water, or we can say diluted water. So what is meant by fluctuant potencies? A form of dilution introduced by some extreme high potency men like Swan, Skinner and others, departing entirely from the Hahnemannian method of preparing potencies. Begin merely dilutions with water instead of potencies with alcohol and on regular scale. So this is a fluctuant potency definition. So they directly convert 2x into 6x, not the 3x. So that is what the fluctuant potency means. So why are all fluctuant potencies objectable? Because doing away with the Hahnemannian procedures, they tend to cause a departure from the homeopathic methods, and also because few if any correspond to the Hahnemannian scale. So this fluctuant potency is not followed by the Hahnemannian method. So that is the one of the objective of fluctuant potency. What is generally understood by high potencies? Preparation above the 30 centesimal or from the 200 upward. So the higher potencies come when 1m, 10m, 50m. These are the higher potencies we can think of. What was the highest potency used by Hahnemann? The 30th, though he made a few experiments with potencies high as the 200 and 300. So this was the higher potencies used by Hahnemann is 200 and 300. What is meant by decimal and centesimal scale? The centesimal scale is introduced by Hahnemann is the one in which each succeeding dilution or titration contains 100 as much as the medicinal substances as the one next preceding, thus scale of 1 to 99. So the decimal scale is 1 where it contains 1/10 as much as 1 to 9. This scale was introduced by Hering. See here the difference between centesimal scale. In centesimal scale the dilution is 1 scale to 99 parts. But coming to the decimal scale of Hering, he said 1/10 to the 1/10th part. So that is the difference between centesimal and decimal scale. What is the relationship of decimal and centesimal potencies? The first centesimal corresponds to the second decimal or the 100th of the original drug. The second centesimal corresponds to the fourth decimal. The third centesimal corresponds to the sixth decimal. So this is the difference between centesimal and decimal scale potencies. Mention some remedies that should not be prescribed below the 2x potency and then only with the great caution. So what are the medicines which cannot be prescribed below 2x is mercurus. An ordinary powder of the 1x titration of this remedy could contain 3 allopathic doses. mercsinus, atropine, strychnine, arsenic in titration, and phytostigma, etc. So these medicines cannot be prescribed in 2x dilation. As a previous slide we have discussed about the phosphorus, right? When phosphorus is given in 1x and 2x, the motor when preparing the motor should burn because of the power which they produce. So here you can see what strychnine is an alkali, mercsin, atropine, all these are some alkali nature which have more strength, like more power. So that's why they cannot be prescribed in 2x. If you prescribe in 2x, that produce some side effects which is equal to the allopathic doses. How are titurations converted into liquid potency? So 1 grain of 6x titration is dissolved in 50 minimums of distilled water, adding thereto 50 mines of alcohol, shaking the vial for 10 times. So this is how titurations are converted into liquid potency. Suppose if you take 6x tituration, from that it is dissolved into 50 mins of distilled water and adding 50 mins of alcohol. So equal amount of distilled water with equal amounts of alcohol and shaking the vial for 10 times. This is the 8x potency. That's what. From 6x it is converting into the 8x potency. Or the next method you can think of, 1 grain of the third tituration is dissolved in 50 mins of distilled water and 50 mins of alcohol, added and shaken 10 times. This is the fourth potency. This cannot be used for saturating pellets. Subsequently, dilutions are made in the usual manner with alcohol. So these are the dilutions which can make the liquid potencies. What chemical or physical fact not previously recognized by science was discovered by Hahnemann? That when an insoluble substance is titurated for a long while, it becomes possessed of a new power which he termed solubility. This is not exactly so, but the minute particles of the finely divided substances become permanently held in the suspension in alcohol and water. So where other sciences doesn't bring the fact, but Hahnemann bring the fact of that insoluble substances giving tituration which becomes permanently held by suspension in alcohol or water. What is the lowest dilution of mercurochrome? That is reliable. The 6th centesimal is of all minerals. So in all minerals the lowest dilution will be the 6th centesimal. What are the different forms in which homeopathic medicines can be obtained? All homeopathic medicines, including those made from minerals, can had in liquid form, hence in medicated globules. So low preparations up to third centesimal or 6th decimal of minerals, salts, some animal substances, etc. can be made only in powder form titurations. So what caution is to be observed in keeping homeopathic medicines? So this is what I said in the previous slide about the fluoric acid. Fluoric acid must be stored in gutta percha bottles. So some precautions should be taken how the medicine should be stored as well. So they should not be exposed to the direct rays of the sun, nor be kept near the strong odors, crude chemicals or volatile substances, because the actual substances material should not be exposed. If that material should be exposed, that medicine go into inert form which doesn't help the patient. The power of the drug will be reduced. Are there any chemical or analytical tests for determining the genuineness of homeopathic preparation? There are none except possibility for the lowest potencies. Hence, the necessity of each physician being able to prepare these potencies for himself or to procure them only from reliable homeopathic pharmacists of established reputation. So, someone asks like, is your homeopathic medicines are genuine? How we can prove? So there is no such theory or no such analytical test in homeopathic medicines, but we can prepare when we prepare from the fresh bark or fresh plant. So that is the genuineness of the homeopathic preparations, and moreover you take the medicines from the genuine homeopathic pharmacist. What is the usual designation of the 2 scale of attenuation? The decimal always has X affiliated to the number of potencies given. The centesimal has not. Thus, 6s always means the 6th decimal potency, while 6 alone means the 6th centesimal. So this is we normally confirm like how which is centesimal potency, which is decimal potency, right? If someone writes just 6, that is 6th centesimal. If someone keeps 6x, that is decimal scale potency. So what is meant by fluid extract? A liquid preparation of a uniform strength, thus 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 gram and 1 gram is equal to 1 minimum of the crude drug. So this is the fluid extract. Are homeopathic and allopathic titurations are the same? So they are not. Most of the latter are made from dried plants, often with the introduction of foreign substances. Right? So allopathic people use some foreign substances in preparing the medicines. But we as a homeopath prepare only one drug, only one material. We are not mixed or not allied with some other drug substances. So that is the first prominent difference you can see. For example, our titurations of sanguinaria is made from the fresh plant alone, while the ordinary drugstore titurations of sanguinaria is made according to the US pharmacopoeia, contains considerable acetic acid. See, from other pharmacopoeia, even our homeopathic pharmacopoeia, that are not genuine medicines. So that's why whenever you buy any medicine, buy from a genuine pharmacist which is prepared on the basis of Hahnemannian method. Our titurations of allose is pure allose. That of the old school contains twice as much as lisnor root as it does allose. Our titurations of opium and rheum are pure. The old school titurations of opium contains phosphate of lime, and that is of rheum contains cardamom. So these are potent reasons why old school titurations will not serve in homeopathy. So this is one of the example why old school titurations will not serve in homeopathy. Name some emetics with dose. Tartar emetic 1 to 2 grains, sulfate of copper 3 to 5 grains, ipecac 10 to 20 grains, ipecac fluid extract is 10 to 20 drops, sulfate of zinc is 10 to 20 grains, mustard of pulver 1 to 2 grams. So these are some emetics with dosage. Name some cathartics with dose. Allose 2 to 10 grains, Rochelle salts 1 to 5 fluid drains, Epsom salts 1 to 4 fluid drains, calomel 3 to 6 grains, podophyllin 1/4 to 1 grain, elistrum 1/8 to 1/4 of grain, elistrin 1/3 to 1/6 to grain, gambogage 2 to 4 grains, croton oil half to 2 drops, jalapa fluid extract 1/4 to 1 gram, rhubarb fluid extract 20 to 30 drops, taraxium fluid extract is 1 to 2 fluid grams, podophyllum fluid extract 100 to 20 drops, woho fluid extract 20 to 80 drops, castor oil is 1 to 4 grams. Thank you.
We are providing 6 months practical clinical training for BHMS graduates, and that will actually help you to become a good practitioner. So you're welcome to join. Thank you.